Now at 6, the man accused of shooting and killing a Minnesota state senator and injuring another is now in custody after a 2-day manhunt. We'll tell you what police know so far about the suspect.
Plus, more ICE arrests were made at ICE protests near the facility along the south waterfront. We'll bring you the latest on what you need to know, and later.
All right, we're gonna get a task and we're gonna go do it to the best of our abilities.
You'll hear from a firefighter crew who helped crews fight the Rowena fire just hours before his graduation. Your 6 o'clock hour of sunrise starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Monday. I'm China Green. We're going to go over to Rod Hill, who's taking a look at your forecast for this Monday.
Happy Monday, final Monday of spring. Of course, summer starts this coming Friday on the calendar. Nice day coming up, very similar to yesterday, except for we're not seeing the low clouds that we had yesterday near Portland and up to the north. So starting off, generally it's partly cloudy to mostly sunny out there. There's, of course, the state capitol live down in Salem. 48 is your early morning number. Here's the way the Rose City looks on this Monday morning. We have generally mostly sunny skies out the door, 53 degrees, again, light winds. 65 at noon. Our big headline overall, still no signs of any hot weather. Yesterday it was 77. I have Portland today at 77 degrees. Enjoy. China.
Thank you, Rod. All right, your time now is 6:01 on your Monday. This is a live look from our traffic cam on I-84 at 28. So far, all quiet on the roads this morning. Looking good out there. We'll keep you updated. And now to a traffic alert starting today through August 21st. There will be a closure of OR 47 in Columbia County for culvert replacement at Vesting Creek. Though this area doesn't get too much traffic, this closure will be going on for a long time and has a very lengthy detour, so plan ahead. 4 people are in police custody this morning following protests last night outside the Portland ICE building. It happened around 11 o'clock when police say several people threw objects at the facility and its staff. And then this comes after police declared a riot on Saturday outside the ICE facility. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us from downtown Portland with more on this. Thomas?
Hey, good morning, China. And 2 people are facing charges for attempted assault of a police officer. 2 others facing charges for interfering with a peace officer, along with other charges as well. Now, Sunday afternoon, demonstrators at the ICE facility along the south waterfront circled the building holding signs and flags. Some broke the glass on the doors before law enforcement deployed tear gas and pepper balls. For days, we've seen arrests down on the south waterfront as demonstrators continue to protest outside the ICE facility. Portland police have reiterated they do not engage in immigration enforcement due to sanctuary laws, but they are still responsible for maintaining public safety and enforcing state laws. On Saturday, police declared a riot outside the ICE facility after a federal officer was hurt by the crowd. As that happened, agents fired tear gas, pepper balls, and less lethal rounds. We spoke to an ER nurse who was hurt during the protest.
I was out there in t-shirt and shorts and a bullhorn and nothing else, on the sidewalk speaking up to the people that were in the building, and didn't get much out before there was a blinding flash in my left eye.
Now, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson says that 2 Portland police officers were also injured in this riot. Neither them nor the federal officer needed additional treatment. China.
Thank you, Thomas. Meantime, tens of thousands of people took part in No Kings rallies across our area. This was part of a national day of action in response to the Trump administration's immigration policies. We saw protests in Portland, Vancouver, the coast, and eastern Oregon. Here's what protesters we spoke to had to say.
I don't think anybody in the Congress, certainly him, could pass a test that the immigrants have to take to become citizens. I don't think they know anything about the Constitution.
What I see now is people's constitutional rights being stomped on.
Portland police confirmed that there was no arrests here made following the main demonstration downtown. Meantime, in Los Angeles, a woman was hospitalized after she was hit by a car during a protest yesterday. Protesters say that they were blocking an intersection when the woman was hit. Officials say she's in stable condition. Police are now looking for that driver. The suspect charged with killing Minnesota House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband will appear in court this afternoon. This comes after a multi-day manhunt to find him. NBC's Jay Gray has more on how law enforcement captured him.
After more than 40 hours on the run, tactical teams close in, capturing Vance Belter overnight.
There's no question that this is the largest manhunt in the state's history.
Federal, state, and local agencies searching for the man they say murdered State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, and in a separate attack, severely injuring State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. Bullet holes from that shooting visible through their front door. The break in the case came Sunday afternoon. Officers locating an abandoned car Belter is suspected of using after the attacks in a rural area about 50 miles southwest of Minneapolis and just minutes from his home. Then, after a tip from a resident, honing in, tracking, and surrounding Belter.
The suspect crawled to law enforcement teams and was placed under arrest at that point in time. There was no use of force by any member of law enforcement.
Agents say Belter was armed when he was taken into custody. A criminal complaint unsealed after his arrest shows police found at least 3 AK-47 rifles, a 9mm pistol, and a kill list in his car, a ballistic vest, mask, and police-style badge on the ground outside the vehicle. Evidence, and what police stress, is still an open and active investigation.
Now begins the hard work of looking at what the motive is, looking at putting this case together.
As the Twin Cities struggle with overwhelming loss. Jay Gray, NBC News, St. Paul, Minnesota.
Now to your morning rush. The G7 summit is underway in Canada this week, and tariffs are top of mind for world leaders. On Sunday, President Donald Trump told reporters that there might be some trade deals in the works. The president is expected to have at least 3 bilateral meetings with other world leaders starting today. Both Israel and Iran have begun a new round of attacks against each other this morning. Iranian state media reports at least 224 people have died since Israel began striking the country on Friday. Israel says at least 24 people have died from Iran's attacks. And thousands of people lined the streets of Washington, D.C. for the Army's 250th anniversary parade Saturday. The parade also coincided with President Donald Trump's birthday. Marching units, including soldiers in historic uniforms, paraded in front of a viewing stand filled with dignitaries, including the President and First Lady. And at least 5 people were killed during a flash flood in northern West Virginia over the weekend, while rescue crews continued searching for 3 others. According to the National Weather Service, the area received between 2.5 and 4 inches of rain within about a half hour here. The state's governor has issued a state of emergency for the counties affected, and that's a look at your morning rush. Rod Hill, you were just talking that earthquakes and tornadoes get a lot of coverage, but floods like that, flash floods, man, it can happen fast.
Yeah, you can argue that's the #1 focus on a lot of research dollars going into NOAA and the National Weather Service, is trying to get more of a lead heads up on when we have these types of moisture plumes that can produce that type of explosive convection and torrential downpours coming down. Flash flooding, one of the big killers in our country every single year. So I was just looking at this. There has been a front that's kind of channeled along that area, which kind of channels rain along it. But really, the big thing that's going on is just a classic return flow out of the Gulf of Mexico, fueling moisture up into this area. Now, much of West Virginia is still under a flash flood watch at this hour for more showers today, but most weather models only say about 1/2 inch in scattered precipitation today across West Virginia. But there is more potential heavy rain coming, not tomorrow, but getting into Thursday perhaps. So just that will make it that much slower for the rivers to recede that are oh so high. But just think about, it's hard to imagine really, 4 inches plus coming down in a 30-minute period. Every now and then we get a report of like an inch of rain here locally in like a 15-20 minute period. And they're talking 4 in 30 minutes. All right, here's what's going on. We're mainly dry. There's a scattered shower chance out east later today, but not much expected. The coast is kind of a mixed bag of clouds. We don't really have a solid marine push this morning, and you folks should have partly cloudy skies. This is down Lincoln County. You can see some breaks in the cloud cover. One of the cameras at Otter Crest down there. And here's the Chehalem tasting room camera. A little brightness over the vineyard this morning. Pretty shot out in the country in Sherwood. 48 is the temperature. Here are the other numbers. We have light winds this morning and no weather-related issues whatsoever. Just pleasant conditions. 49 in Tigard. It's 48 in Salem, 52 this morning out in Silverton. The weather map does show that chance of some scattered showers in southeastern and eastern Oregon, including maybe a spotty thunderstorm popping outside of Burns and up toward Baker City. So keep an eye on that. 70s and 80s east of the Cascades, 70s up and down I-5. We still are tracking At most, I can see 2 90-degree days between now and about July 5th when I look at everything on the extended chart. So overall, the word is comfortable temperatures continuing. 77 today, 77 tomorrow. Could be some traces of moisture Wednesday morning with some thick low clouds. And we are looking, I put showers on the map, but maybe rain at times is the wording I should have used for widespread manageable rainfall coming on Friday and Saturday. Of course, Friday is the first day of
Summer.
Summer. Yeah, back to you.